I thought it would be very helpful to sit down and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of being an entrepreneur/entrepreneur wife. But to do that, I feel like I have to go back in time and explain the story of how I got here and what am I going to do about it. I think the reason I was attracted to my husband, which we met when we were in middle school, everybody, okay? It's a long story, but we didn't start dating until we were in high school. We were high school sweethearts, and then we got married. But I did not know that my husband was an entrepreneur. But now looking back, I'm like, the thing that I was really attracted to is his entrepreneurial thinking, his big, I want to change the world thinking. And it was addicting. Like if you've ever been around my husband, you know that he is a vision caster and a life speaker. Like the way that he looks at the world is so addicting. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just filled with like hope and possibilities. And I think I was really attracted to that. It wasn't until like many years later when he actually took the step out and took the risk to be a full-fledged entrepreneur. I mean, we had side hustles because I feel like somebody who's an entrepreneur to their core has a lot of different like side hustles where they're, gonna do candy machines or, I'm gonna do this marketing campaign or this affiliate or, there were a lot of signs that this was going to be our life. It took me a minute. And as an entrepreneur wife, it took me maybe a longer minute than it should have for me to really get on board. And I think in the beginning, there was this sense of denial, like, oh, he'll just get it out of his system. He'll just get it out of his system. And then we'll go back to, doing what I called like professional, like he had a good cushy job. He had a cubicle. We got bonuses. We got all these things. We weren't in charge. We could call into sick. We had health insurance. But then he took that leap and became an entrepreneur and everything kind of changed. But I thought it was just a bug. And what was crazy is the entrepreneur job that we did is window cleaning and pressure cleaning. And it was seasonal in Michigan. So every winter he would go get a job. In the first few years, he would go get a job and then come back to the season just to like supplement the income. And what was interesting is it's really hard to, do entrepreneur life, but it's also hard to watch your entrepreneur go back into a job. And so basically watching him get his soul sucked for a few months and then coming back and coming to life of all of the possibilities. But I will say as an entrepreneur wife, that is such a roller coaster. It's such an up and down, and I love safety. So I don't know if I'm the only woman who loves safety, but safety is something that I really love. And I grew up with my parents who loved me and had blue-collar jobs and consistency. And then we jump off this cliff to do entrepreneurship. But in the midst of that risk, I will say that it was worth it. And it's not just because it's worth it because it worked out. It's worth it because every time my husband was in entrepreneur mode, it was like the life got put back in his eyes. He was in Soul Sucker 9000 jobs where he really couldn't express his ideas and build and be creative and have, vision and speak life into his employees or his clients. And so when he was in his entrepreneur mode, he was his best self. But there has been seasons in entrepreneurship that maybe haven't went his way or, things lined up and it's exhausting. And so there have been seasons of entrepreneurship. And thankfully, they were moments where I was on board, where I finally understood the vision, it's gonna make me cry, but where I finally was like, oh no. And not out of like, oh, you're not gonna give up right now. It's not like that. It's like, you're not gonna give up on yourself. You're not gonna give up on God's vision. You're not gonna give up on our employees or your clients or like, you don't have time for that. And in these moments have been really a big win. And I can see where he is weak, I come in and clap and cheer him on. And it's cool because I've got to watch how it puts more wind in his sail. it resets. You know, we've had many seasons where we're like, we don't like each other, or I don't like you right now, or I don't like business, or I want to burn it to the ground. We've had all of those, you know, highs and lows of entrepreneurship. But what's really cool is when you've done hard things together and you get to clap and cheer each other on in your weakest moments and you come back stronger. It's a feeling that I don't even know if I could describe to you. It's just something that's internal that keeps you going, and it doesn't necessarily, it makes the journey worth it. You know, sometimes a lot of people try to avoid hard things. So I've met a lot of entrepreneurs who take the easy road. They take the shiny object. Oh, they take the easy button. Or they pivot, you know, they are always got an opportunity and they don't stick through the suck. And I think they're missing the best part. I think they're missing the part that makes it worth it. They're missing the hard conversations, or even when like a customer doesn't like you. Like, I really like to be liked. And so I was like, oh, anytime I heard a customer, you know, but they're going through the conflict with somebody, it makes it even firmer. So there's been a lot of, you know, customers, oh, they had an issue or something. But when you show up to that issue, it's like then they stick with you for life. It's like we've done the hard things together. And I think that's what happens in marriages and families. Like, you know, there's many times I'm like wondering, like, are my kids going to be okay? Like, how much trauma are we going to have from this entrepreneur journey? Because it is tough. But then we'll have a moment. Like, even last night, we had a moment where we laughed at all of the hard stuff we went through because my kids have been through the journey with us. And, you know, sometimes they're down too, and we have to clap and cheer them on and take a minute and pause. And, you know, we don't really believe in balance here. So our life is not balanced. It's like, whoa, wow, wow, because we want to be excellent. We don't want to just be mediocre. We want to really be excellent. And so we've had some seasons that are like this. But I will tell you this, the hard stuff, the stuff that hasn't felt cute, the moments where my husband is down and I need to cheer him up, or I'll be honest, I'm going to admit, sometimes I lose my cuckoo cuckoo, and it's like, and I don't know if I'm the only woman on the planet, but it can go from like, okay, to catastrophic. And I'm like, want to burn things to the ground. And my husband's like, oh, pump the brakes. But that's when my husband shows up and he claps and cheers me. He claps and cheers me on. And then I go and clap and cheer everybody else on. But I think that's the greatest part of entrepreneurship. It's the risk. It's the hard things. It's the joy in the journey. It's something internal that I can never really fully describe that literally starts to change who you are. It starts to level you up. I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was going to say 10 years ago, but for sure 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even a year ago, even last month. Like, I think the level up is so wild of the different things that I can handle. Like, I can handle so much more crap than I could have even a year ago. Like, it just builds you in this way that's beautiful and chaotic and a little bit crazy, but so awesome and so worth it. So I don't know if I'm talking you into entrepreneurship wife, or talking you out of it. I just know that the story's not done yet, and it's gonna keep going. And I thought of this the other day when I was like getting ready, and it was one of those days where you wanted a hurkle-durkle. I just found out this word, and so I'm gonna use it in all of my things, where a hurkle-durkle is where you wake up in your bed and then you just kind of like lounge around. I wanted to hurkle-durkle, okay? I wanted to not get up. I was kind of like feeling sorry for myself, and I'm putting on my makeup, kind of like huffing and puffing. And then I had a moment where I caught myself, because I think this is what entrepreneurship does. When you're reading books, you're taking courses, you're in a mentorship, you're in a mastermind, you're in a frap chapter, you catch yourself. You catch these moments. And I think that's the bounce back rate. That's the rate where you catch your moments and you catch your thoughts and you're like, nope, I'm not entertaining that. I caught myself because I wanted to hurkle-durkle. I caught myself in this moment, and it was a moment where I was like, you know what? We're actually fine. Like, we could move back home. We could just be fine. We could just be a family. We would have more money than we know what to do with. Like, we're fine. And I had this moment of, how selfish are you, Ashley? How selfish for you to have that thought that you would just be fine, that you would be safe if you just went home, packed up your things, and only served yourself, only served your family. And I just started to cry because I really do care about our customers. I really do care about changing the world. And I felt guilty that I was having that thought of, I could just take care of myself. I just could pack up my things and I don't need to share what I've got with the world, what my husband's got with the world, like what our staff and all the things that we've built and the tools and the resources. If I was just going to go hide that under a rock, how dare I? And even if it's hard, and even if I want to hurkle-durkle, and even if I need to capture those moments, because I do want to change the world. And so if you're an entrepreneur who wants to change the world and you're just having a moment, push through, clap and cheer for your spouse. There's these seasons and these ebbs and these flows. And even when I think that I know what's coming next, it will be a surprise. But I am just here to clap and cheer you on in whatever season that may look like, whatever the level up is. Capture those thoughts when you're having that selfish scarcity mindset. Capture them, reassess them, and remember that you are truly doing something that possibly could change the world. Hey friends, this is a new channel and I would love and appreciate it if you like, subscribe, do all the things. I'm trying to encourage thousands of women to be exactly who they are, but to clap and cheer. And I want to clap and cheer for you. So like and subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in the next video.